if until you are in the workplace, you don't really know what you're going to be good at and what you're not going to be good at. And this is why it's so important to explore different career options prior to going to college. So what happens to us as people while we're in the job market? While we're out looking for employment, while we're trying to build our careers, we're trying to figure out what we want to do in life. And we don't really know. We don't really know what we want to do. And while we're trying to figure it out, we discover something about ourselves. We discover that we like sales. We had this posting here on Reddit, stick with what I know or what I want to get good at, software or sales. I won't read this entire posting, by the way, but for the most part it says, I am a computer science major who recently graduated. I decided after graduating that I want to get into sales and practicing my communication skills. And down here, the person says, for that reason, I applied and got accepted into a B2B sales program at a large company. I learned how to cold call other businesses, and I believe improved my communication skills a good amount. Okay. And believe improved. Okay. I believe improved communication skills too. Okay, all joking aside. All right, let's just keep going. All right, so they were in software and they decided that they wanted to improve their sales skills. For some reason, they determined that was important. Now, commonly this happens with people when they are naturally decent at sales or naturally decent at communication, or they have aspirations to do things like be in politics or be a C-level manager or something of that nature. And they know they need to improve in this area. Because people who are in software development don't give a lick about communication skills. They really don't. Okay, let's read a little bit further, and then we'll kind of discuss what we have here. Okay. Essentially, all right, I'll just break it down. They lost their job. A bunch of people got fired. They got laid off. And they're in a position to where now they don't know what to do. Should they be in software or should they continue in sales? Here's the thing that most people don't understand. Regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you act, regardless of anything, only about 10% of people are actually good at sales. It's only about 10% of people. And so if you put 100 people in a room and you say, okay, we're all going to try to sell stuff, only about 10% are going to work out. And that's probably being really generous. But the issue is, when we're talking about anything that has to do with communication skills, is that we all have communication skills in a certain style. And so if you can imagine a scale from one end to the other, on one end you have customer service skills, and on the other end you have sales. These people right here are going to be the people that are your sales people. Down here in the customer service area, this is where a majority of the people are. They're kind of in this customer service. They're only good. They can answer questions, that sort of thing. But that's really about it. And then in the middle, I'm generalizing hugely here. In the middle, right about here, are consultants. People who are good at consulting people and good at people who are good at working with others and helping them. And, and they can build trust and that sort of thing. They can sell stuff. But for the most part, people in this area are not going to make great salespeople. And every person, no matter who you are, no matter what country you are, no matter what skin color you are, or eye color, or hair color, you're going to be somewhere on this scale from here to here, somewhere in between. Now, the problem, of course, is there's a lot of people who don't know that they're salespeople. And so they never become salespeople. They never get a job in sales. They end up just floating around in life. And they use the skills and it benefits them, helps them get jobs and that sort of thing. But they never actually get a sales job. And so this is one of these really important topics. When you don't know what you want to do for a career, you don't know what you're wanting to do in life, you don't know what you don't know. And sadly, that's a reality. But when you work with a career coach or you work with somebody else, it helps generate a reflection of who you are by bouncing ideas off of another person. It's kind of like looking in a mirror. You see maybe not a perfect version of yourself, but you see a reflection of yourself. And this is one of those things that is not really understood. And why it's so important to have a career coach that you work with, or somebody else, because they can help shape your career. And they can see things about you that maybe you don't see for yourself, because what happens is people make the assumption, and they do it in their 20s, and it takes a while before they figure this out. They make the assumption that other people can do everything that they can. When when I first learned to use computers, my dad said, "You should be in computers." And I said, everybody knows how to use a computer. They're super easy. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, everybody can use a computer. Why would I want to do something that everybody is good at? Of course, as it turns out, from a natural standpoint, as far as how my brain works, computers come a lot easier to me than other people. Okay, so let's remove that. It applies also for sales. It applies for communication skills. It applies for a lot of other things. We each have our own traits. We each have our own abilities. We're not all the same. And a lot of people don't understand that. And so here's the case where you have somebody who probably got into software only because they heard that you can make $100,000 being in software. But they have an interest in sales. And I don't even need to know if they're good at sales. The fact that they care and they want to be good at it is all that's required. They don't need to do anything else. All they have to do is put all their efforts into building their communication skills, building their sales skills. This is where we run into the very important issue of traits and abilities over whatever your college degree is, whatever you're taught, nature and nurture. This is one of the most important discussions to have, and it's about traits and abilities. Your traits and your abilities determine your genetics, if you want. Determine how successful you're going to be in a certain area. We could all become car mechanics. Every one of us. Everybody, if we had 100 people line up and learn to be a car mechanic, and we were all a car mechanic for a year, I'm telling you, probably about 10-15% of people would actually do pretty good at it. Everybody else, no. How about salespeople? If you took 100 people and said 100 people are going to be salespeople, would they all work out? No, 10-15%. What about computer programmers? Same thing. Everybody is somewhere on the scale for everything. You're either in the 10% area, or you're on the other end, or you're in this funny little middle section, the consultant area. And it's like this for everything, for every skill, for every ability. You're somewhere on the scale. And this is a situation to where the person is being ambitious and they're trying to succeed, but they don't understand. They don't understand that their interest in doing this is 90% of the battle. It's not because they're good or naturally good or whether they look appropriate or not or anything else. It's that they care and that they want to be good at it. Their natural abilities is drawing them to do sales. And so this is the reason why it's important to explore different jobs when you're younger, so that you get a chance to find out what your natural skills and abilities draw you towards. I know when in my first job, I ended up supervising. I ended up having subordinates. I was just a supervisor at a grocery store. I loved it. I was really good at it. And to this day, I know that because I've worked with people and I've managed people. I've been a supervisor of many people in a lot of different businesses and all kinds of situations. I know how to manage people. Is that going to be my calling in life to manage people? I don't know, maybe. But that doesn't really matter. It's just an example. Until you are in the workplace, you don't really know what you're going to be good at and what you're not going to be good at. And this is why it's so important to explore different career options prior to going to college. Because otherwise you turn out like this person. This person who's working on a computer science degree but wants to be in sales. And actually, in the end, what's going to happen, there's a good chance this person's just going to merge the two together and is going to do sales for a software company, for a software development company. And in the end, that's probably what's going to happen, right? I mean, that seems like a match made in heaven, because in the end, that's what we end up doing. We take the skills and knowledge that we gain from other parts of our life, and we make something of it. And so if you're an accountant, but you have a background in farming, maybe you become an accountant for farmers, right? You combine the thing. I've been in IT. I've worked in IT. I've done recruiting. I'm doing this right now. I'm a career coach. So I should be doing career coaching for IT people. So it's one of those things that people do is they combine resources, knowledge, and experience together to make a career. And fortunately for this person, if they're in sales, they're going to be discovered and they're going to have a great job. They're going to have a great career and they're going to think back on this day and they're not really going to think much of it. That's just a reality. But again, conceptually, I know it's kind of hard to understand. People don't really talk this way. People don't talk about it. But everybody is on the scale of 1 to 100. Everybody's on that scale somewhere. And it's all based off of your abilities and all based off of what you're capable of doing. And so for this person on Reddit named Raindrops and Rainbows, good luck to you. You're in good shape. You'll be fine. That's it for today. I'm SP Graham. This is Jobferno. If you have any questions, send me an email. It's in description below. Send me an email at questions@jobferno.com. And as always, choose skills over money.